Hello everyone, I am Dr. Manoj Kumar NV, working as an Associate Professor in the Department of Management Sciences, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. So today we are going to be discuss about the commercial banking services. So the subject title Banking and Financial Services, the subject code is 18 MBA FM 301. So in the previous session we are discussed the various types or various services of commercial bank. The rest of the services today we are going to discuss. So in that, the first one in the commercial banks, so whatever we are discussed in the previous class with respect to the commercial banker services are acceptance of deposit, overdraft facilities, discounting of bills, check payment, collection and payment through credit instruments, foreign currency exchange, consultancy or agency services, and banco guarantee. So we had briefly discussed all the services in the previous class. So today in today's session we are going to discuss about the remaining services of commercial banks. So namely the first one is remittance of funds. So remittance of funds here is where whatever the amount on behalf of the customer, the banker is ready to make a payment, that we are called it as remittance services. Like any charges, any payment with respect to electricity, with respect to LIC premium, with respect to tax payment or security investment plans. So any premium, such premium or such payment, if the customer want to do it, then if they given the standing instruction to the banker to do the payment, then they can able to consider that as a standing order by the customer, and the banker is going to make a payment, such a payment on the particular maturity date. So that we call it as remittance of funds. So the difference of remittance and accepting of deposit is, in the remittance of funds on behalf of the customer, the banker is going to pay the amount to the certain party or certain payments. So in acceptance of the deposit, the major source of the funds in the banker deposits. So these deposits consist only the money and not of any assets. So for these deposits held in the commercial banks provide the interest. So as I said earlier, whatever the banker is going to pay on behalf of the customer, then they are going to be charged the processing charges or commission they are going to be keep. So whenever they do such transaction, but when it comes under the acceptance of deposit, whatever the deposit they are collecting from the customer, they are going to be charged the interest for the particular deposit. So therefore, thus it helps in the mobilizing of the savings. So therefore, it will increase the mindset in the mindset of the customer towards make a savings, because whatever they do savings, they are going to be deposited in the bank. So when the deposited small deposits they are gathered together in the bank, so that will be a huge amount they are going to be generated for providing a loan. So for the deposits, there are variety of the options are available. These includes current account, saving account, recurring account and fixed deposit account. So the name only indicates savings account. Savings account, whenever the customers are ready to save their amount, whenever they save, they are going to deposit in the bank. So nominally the savings account have a lesser interest rate compared to recurring and fixed deposit account. Then current account is mainly accessed by the corporates or the businessman for day-to-day, to maintain the day-to-day liquidity. They are going to prefer the current account. Actually, the current account is not having any interest for the whatever the amount deposit or do the payments. So therefore, there is no interest which is associated with respect to current account for the deposit. But for the payment, they have an option that where in the current account, even though they not have a sufficient balance, they are going to make a payment. So therefore, within the maturity period or within the given period by the banker, the customer or the account holder must need to be make a deposit of whatever the amount he claimed earlier, for that amount within the stipulated period you have to make a deposit. So there, and coming to the recurring deposit, recurring deposit helps to the customer to make a savings mindset, as well as they are getting a very good return. Salaried employees, they keep on saving every month on whatever the salary they got. They kept some amount as a savings, and that savings every month they are going to be deposited in the bank through whatever the plans, investment plans they have, through insurance, through best plan of investment, they are going to be undergone the policy through recurring deposits. So in the recurring deposit, it might be annually, semi-annually, quarterly or monthly base, they are going to do the deposit. After the maturity period, they are going to get the lump sum value. So compared to savings bank account, the recurring deposit will give you a maximum return. Then coming to the last type of the account, that is fixed deposit account. So fixed deposit account, the name only indicates, so it is a one-time investment you are going to do at the initial time. So after the stipulated period, like if you take example of 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, 20 years, it depends on the stipulated time period which is decided by the customer is going to deposit the such lump sum amount in the bank, and after the maturity period he is going to getting a very high return for the fixed deposit. So therefore, compared to all other different accounts, the fixed deposit account will give you a maximum return. Then credit cards. So credit cards, nowadays all banks, they are going to be provide the credit cards. So once you access the account in the particular bank, the banker is ready to provide the credit card based on your credibility. So therefore, it is going to be depends on your salary, on your asset or your property, whatever you have. Based on that, the banker is going to evaluate the such amount account. So therefore, they are going to fix the slab like 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees. That is going to depends on whatever the income source or whatever the property you have, or what is the type of business you have. Based on that, the banker is going to be decide the limit for credit cards. So these credit cards are, it's like a postpaid, where you are going to be claim whatever the amount which is offered by the banker with respect to credit card. So that amount you are going to be make use for the particular time duration. Within that duration, you are going to make use for your payments, and after a particular stipulated time which is fixed by the banker, on that date, within the date, you must need to be return back whatever you are claimed in the particular credit card. Unless if you are not make a deposit of whatever the amount you claim, you are responsible to charge under very high interest rate. So therefore, you must need to fetch very high interest rate when you use the credit card. So therefore, you must need to be very careful when you are using the credit cards. Whatever the dates the banker is mentioned, within the date only, or number of days the banker has mentioned, within the days only you must need to be deposit to the particular account. So if you make it deposit within the particular date, there is no any other additional charges the banker is going to be charged. Then ATM services. So from 2010 onwards, there is a huge demand towards smart cards. So that is one of the mode is ATM services. So we can see that even the post office, they are introduced 1,500 ATM outlets in India, and even each and every banker, they provide the services of ATM. So that for ATM nowadays, they are introduced the machine for deposits as well as for a passbook. Even you can able to withdraw your amount from the ATM services. ATM, the name only indicates that all time money or any time money. So therefore 24/7 you can able to access through your localized ATM machines. So for using the ATM, there will be a very less charges they are going to be charged for usage of ATM cards, and there will be a minimum transaction if you are go for, like if you are a SBI banker, SBI customer, if you are going to use the SBI ATM card in other Canara Bank or any other syndicate banks, if you use those cards for more than 3 times, then the banker is going to be charged additional charges for make use of the SBI card from the other banks. Then coming to debit cards, so debit cards is it's almost similar to the ATM cards. Earlier ATM cards only had an option towards withdraw the amount. So today it is also a deposit card where you can able to deposit even through using ATMs. Then coming to the next one is home banking. So home banking is the practice of conducting banking transaction from home rather than at a branch location. So therefore you can sit in home and you can able to transit through by using a home banking. So home banking generally refers to mobile banking or web banking, web or online banking, we can call it as banking through over the telephone or banking by mail. So all these are considered to be a home banking. So the first experiment, which is with online banking, started in the early 1980s. However, it did not become a popular till the rise in the internet in the mid of 1990s. So earlier we don't have a much access with the internet. So even though it is experiment, the first experiment which is started in 1980s, but it will take another 10 years duration to make it more popular, and many international banks maintain a few, if any, physical branches. So therefore, the trend of home banking practices, which is more popularized from 1990 onwards. So these home banking is the practice of conducting banking transactions from home rather than the bank branch location. So therefore you need not to go for the individual branch or bank. You can sit in home and you can operate whatever the transactions you are required, that we are termed it as home banking. So home banking, which includes, as I said, it includes the mobile banking, it includes the web or online banking, it includes the banking over the telephone, and also you can do the banking by mail. So these are the modes of home banking transactions. Then by using the home banking, you can save the time, because you need not to go for the individual branch or you need not to wait in the queue to do the transaction, and it is reducing the physical risk. So therefore, be sitting in the home, you can do each and every payment and the receipts, and you can check out the account details and all. So these are the main benefits of home banking. However, the home banking can also exposes users to cyber security risk. So therefore, obviously whenever you are sharing your password or sharing your account number or your personal details, so therefore you should be very careful while you are using a home banking. Otherwise you are going to have threatening by others. So therefore you should be very careful when you are going to be use the home banking. Whatever the PIN code or password, whatever the bankers which they are given as to maintain secrecy, you must need to be maintained very secret with respect to those aspects. So that's why most of the time the banker is keep on sending the messages to not to share your bank account or IFSC or the PIN code or password. So they are going to state that nobody will ask with respect to whatever the security purpose information which is given to the customer, don't share to anyone. Likewise, they are going to be given information to make safeguard to the interest of customers. So the increasing popularity of the home banking has fundamentally changed the character of the banking industry. So earlier we can see that there is a huge queue will be there, and for each transaction they are going to take hours together. but now the trend is become entirely changed. So therefore the banking industry itself tremendously changed the character of the banking industry. So therefore many people arrange their affairs so that they can seldom need to visit a physical branch. Online only banks have profited from his shift in this industry. So as I know, earlier days there is a huge queue for just withdraw the amount, and everything is manual. So therefore it will take a more time, and it is increase the physical professional stress for the bankers. So but nowadays due to use of online transactions and all, the bankers also get more profits, and the absence of brick and mortar locations allows many online banks offer favorable interest rates and lower service charges and other incentives for those willing to go for bank online. So therefore, even though if you are using online banking, you can see that you will get more offers or more commissions, and interest rates are going to be favorable interest rates they are going to be provided, and for the bankers they are going to be charged the very low service charges for the customers. So these are all whatever the advantages which are going to be received by using the home banking. Then many of the limits on home banking revolve around initiating large transactions. So like you couldn't able to go for a large transaction unless the bankers are permit you to go for online. So but in through offline you can through offline you can go for RTGS, NEFT with the high values, but when you are compared to the online banking, so where there will be a restriction for per day restrictions and limit will be given. So these are the limitation for the home banking. Requiring a personal appearance reduces and even prevents some form of fraud. So like if you are make mistake with the transaction, or if you are type error with the account number, you are going to be lose your amount. So therefore you should be very careful. So when there is a when there is a personal appearance, there will be a more clarity rather than the online. Although there is an increasing trend toward offering more services through online, many banks normally require that sum of transaction occur in the person. For instance, applying for personal or business loan often calls for an appearance at a branch office, because when you are applying for any loan or business loan or individual loan or personal loan, home loan, you must you need a presence in the banker, because then only they are going to be issue the loan. So applying for mortgage is not another financial transaction where the applicant historically had to visit the bank at some point. So like whenever you are mortgage your properties or you are going to take the term loans and all, you must need to be your presence is most important, and the clarity and conformity should be there by your presence. So therefore even to avoid such frauds with respect to any misrepresentation or any document verification in the time of duration of loan, when you are taking a loan, you must need to be produce all the documents, security measures you need to be do. So for all these things, the personal appearance is most important for a banker to approve the loan. So when we coming to the types of home banking, the first one here is that is mobile banking. So banking via mobile phone. So everybody nowadays they have a mobile phones, so they used to transfer. So nowadays we are using phone pay, Google Pay, and even the mobile banker apps were there. So directly they are going to be transact the payments, and your receipts they are going to be received directly to their particular account if they are linked the account to particular apps. So phone apps has become increasingly popular. So as I said, everybody they have either the Google Pay, Phone Pay or bank apps. Most mobile apps are easier to use than websites. So as we say earlier, we have online banking. So when it is online or network banking where we need to be log in and we need to put the password and we should need to be going in each and every steps we must need to follow. But when we use the mobile phones, where the mobile phones are provided the best apps, so therefore directly you can able to do the transaction instead of whatever we are doing as in the online or websites which we are using. Better than that we can able to do in online mobile banking. In particular, banking apps can provide protection from phishing attacks, and mobile apps also often allow users to access features that are not available via websites. Sometimes mobile banking make it very easier to transact better than the websites. So for example, if we are taken a consideration of frequently possible to scan paper checks with an app, while this feature is less common in the website. So therefore easily you can able to check out the transaction by using a mobile banking. If you are go with the websites and all, it will take more time and it will consume more data rather than the mobile banking. So therefore the mobile banking nowadays, it is a very popular and drastically increasing the mobile bankers, the whatever the services they are rendering, it is reaching each and every customer. Then coming to the second type of home banking is web banking, or we call it as online or internet banking. So web banking via the internet is still fairly common. So as India, as a developing country, we right now we have a 4G and 5G network. So where even in the remote area they are unable to access better network facilities. So nearly all banks have a websites that allow to access and checking accounts and savings account. They can able to check and they can know the whatever the balance is available. And web banking is generally available for both the individual as well as for small businesses. Some users may be more comfortable with web banking than new apps for mobile phones. So because they are not aware with the touch phones and all, so therefore they are very convenient by using a web banking rather than the mobile phones. The vast majority of the web browsers are also open source and thoroughly tested. So you must need to be check out each and every details whatever you are given prior to the payment mode. So therefore when you do the payment, you should be verified once, twice, thrice. So therefore which makes them more secure than most mobile apps. So therefore mobile apps, in one click it will be go payment and it will going to be received they are going to be received the receipts. But in the web banking it have a several process. They must need to be clear the process to complete the transaction. So therefore compared to mobile banking, web banking is little safer. Then the third one under home banking is banking over the telephones. So earlier we used to have the customer is going to give a standing instruction to the banker to do the payment, to do the insurance premium payment, or to make an investment in the security portfolio. Like bank over the telephone is one of the oldest form, we can say that, in home banking, and it is still has some uses. So some of the earliest home banking services were automated system for obtaining the account balances over the phone. So even the SBI given the 10 numbers. So if you are registered with the through the mobile phones with the 10 numbers, if you text the message to the particular number, it will shows the mini statement, it will shows the bank balance directly. So while the internet has mostly taken over that function, so as we know nowadays we are using the internet in fingertips, it is easily available. So earlier days it is not like what they used to call to the branches and they are going to share the particular account number to check out what is the balance and all. So banking by phone remains a useful fallback. So phone calls are a way for banks to verify if customers actually made suspicious looking transactions. Phone calls also help customer to resolve issues when the errors are occur. Sometimes there might be a chance of delay in payment, or they want to cancel the check and all. At that time, through the telephone, they are going to be given a standing instruction to the banker to stop or hold the transaction or delay in the payment. All these things were happen due to the whatever the services through home banking as a banking over the telephone. So therefore, that is also one of the oldest tool which we are using. Then coming to the last one, where banking by mail. So banking by mail continues to enjoy the same popularity, and depositing paper checks via mail is simple and intuitive for people who usually do their banking in person. So furthermore, banking by mail does not introduce any cyber security risk associated with the online banking. So the banking by mail is very good alternative for customers with a temporary need for a home banking, because every time you are not unable to do the mail. So whenever there is an emergency, there is some errors are taken place at the time, it is the best way and it is the best mode towards solving whatever the problem which is arise in the particular account. Then coming to the main advantages of banking, where when we take a consideration of home banking, it will be save your time and reducing your physical risk. So therefore, maintain the whatever the main benefits of the banking, those are the saving time and reducing your physical risk, and financial transaction can often be completed in the minute at home. So therefore, you need not to go and you need not to wait in the queue. Immediately in a one click it is going to be happen. At best, in person requires walking over to a small branch office in a convenient location such as a grocery store. At worst, traditional banking demands a separate trip and waiting a long line upon arrival. So therefore, home banking also eliminates the need to take a physical risk which are not limited to the coronavirus. Car accident killed tens of thousands of Americans every year in the in the early 21st century. Furthermore, many people are afraid to being robbed at ATMs. So therefore, when there is a physical risk, it is a hectic job for the banker. So therefore, to eliminate and to avoiding such things, the home banking is the best way, and it is one of the advantage of the home banking. So coming to the disadvantage of home banking, so with the increased shift in the online banking, new security threats has arise. So all all online transactions or information such as your account number, your recent transaction is vulnerable to malicious hackers and other threats. So from banks with online arms have to put into place cyber security measures to prevent such theft from occurring. So cyber security has become an essential part as the world becomes more reliant on computers than ever before. So therefore, there is a need of this cyber security in whatever the online payments we are doing, online transaction we are doing, online banking services which they are provide. Every banker must need to be used the cyber security to safeguard their customers. Then we are moving to the next point, where it is priority banking. So we can see the why we should opt for priority banking services. So priority banking or privilege, we can call it as privilege banking, is a relatively new term in Indian banking context. Many banks in India, especially the private banks, have followed the international banks in providing specialized services to a certain set of customers known as priority customers. So therefore, these customers are determined usually by the average balance they maintain with the bank, or based on the number of years they hold the banking relationship. While in some cases the customers are automatically offered priority banking status, there are many instances when one has to apply for this. So therefore, it is not available for all. Sometimes that is going to be decided by the banker, sometimes that is going to be decided by the preferred customers. So it is priority banking, the same as wealth management services offered by the banks. So the answer is no. Wealth management services is concerned with the providing first class customers with customized services on all their financial needs, which includes the investment advice and portfolio management. So in the wealth management, what they are focused, they are going to be find out the first class customers, and they are going to facilitate how to customize the services with respect to meeting their financial needs through investment advice and the portfolio management. But in under priority banking, it is priority banking on the other hand, it deals with the providing the same banking services to the priority customers at a specialized rates. Or offering a particular convenience level, while wealth management is not priority banking. Priority banking as a part of its services may include the wealth management. So therefore, let's look at some of the benefits which priority banking customers can experience. So therefore, just we can look into those. The first one here is a dedicated service area in the branch, thus eliminating the need queue up for transactions. So therefore, for them they are going to be given where the branches have a very less customers, so therefore easily they can go and need not to be wait for fulfilling the transactions. Then the second one, client relationship managers assigned to take care of all banking needs. So therefore, the managers are take care of whatever the clients were considered as a priority customer, they are take care of each and every transaction of them. And it is a free at par checkbooks and waiver of charges on the host of products like NEFT, RTGS, demand draft, check returns, duplicate statements and stop payments of checks. All these things are free at par. So therefore, they need not to be pay any additional charges for that. And premium debit and credit cards are free of cost. So therefore, the banker is going to provide the premium debit and credit cards and free check pickup facility. So means whenever check leaves are completed, at that time immediately the bankers are going to be provide a free checks up pickup facility, and concessions in locker rent. So sometimes whatever the locker rent is going to be charged for the normal customers, they are going to be bit less, they are going to be charged for the priority customer. Access to exclusive lawns and other areas. So therefore, they are providing a permission to make use of the lawns or any other area which is stipulated or premised by the bank, and access preferential pricing on the variety of products and services. Sometimes whatever the products or services provided by the bankers, in that also they are going to be get the discount and less charge they are going to pay, and relationship benefits across the branches in the different locations. So therefore, this is going to be built relationship benefits. So therefore, they can choose any branches of the particular bank and they can fulfill the transaction. So therefore, these are the main whatever the additional services which is providing to the priority banker. So the above whatever we are discussed are the few illustrative benefits and can vary from one bank to another. It should not be the same. And while the gamut of services and benefits covered are not important, it is useful to see that priority banking customer often stand to gain compared to normal customers. So even the banker is going to give one additional benefit to the customer than the normal customers, that is also considered to be a priority customer. So does it make sense to become a priority banking customer with your bank? So therefore, it is first important for the banker to ascertain two things. First one is your bank needs, your banking needs, and if the priority banking status is offered for free, while in many cases priority banking is free and it is based on the past history of the account. Some banks charge for offering these services. For example, Standard Chartered Bank charges are free providing priority banking services, and thus is set out the priority banking tariff sheet of the banks with which changes from time to time. So even you can take an example of IDFC, they are going to be provide free means par value with respect to whenever we go for NEFT and RTGS, there is no additional charges they are going to be charged for the priority customers. So like this, and ascertain if you have to pay to become a priority banking customer. If yes, then evaluate your banking needs, and as far as banking needs are concerned, each individual and the household has different needs depending on their financial situation. So background how technical save they are, you will need to determine if you currently need heavy banking services for your personal or professional needs, or if banking is only a small part of your financial life. For most of the people, bank stops with depositing and withdrawing cash, opening fixed deposit, operating the locker, and maybe take demand draft. So now with the advent of mobile banking and internet banking, the need for checkbooks and demand draft and physical visit to banks branches is also greatly reduced for a common man. So therefore, you can carry out most services on the internet by simply logging in your account with a click in the mouse. In such a scenario, applying for a priority banking account by paying a fee does not make much sense. So therefore, as a banker, they must need to be facilitate who are the right customer, who are the needy customer. For them, they must need to be provide the priority banking services with cost free. So therefore, whenever they are not paying anything, if they are getting a priority from the banker, obviously the customers are going to be retained and they are going to be have a good relationship, good rapport between the banker and the customer. On the other hand, if you think you will need to avail some services repeatedly from your bank, you can consider a priority banking relationship. For instance, you may have the need to take the demand draft at regular intervals, which entitles FT demand draft charges. So, or you may not have a tech savvy and therefore may need to visit the bank regularly. You may also want unlimited checkbook facility, which is not available to you as a normal customer of the bank. In such cases, you can look at priority banking as one of the good option to enhance your banking experience. So therefore, the banker also must need to be very careful regarding to deciding out to whom we are going to uh, provide the priority banking services. Hope today we are discuss around 6 points. Hope you are understand those key points. So the remaining points we are going to be discussing the next session. So thank you for your listening. Hope you understand well. So just work on those whatever today we are discuss the key points. You just refer the books and just you can able to Google the valid sites, so you can have a much more information. So try to collect such information which is needful for your examination purpose. So the rest of the 4 we are going to be discussing in the next class. Thank you for your listening.